Hey everybody, a few of my friends have been asking me to do the game reviews of some of the things which I play. I'm going to start off with the Forza games. I've only got up to number 6, so I haven't actually bought number 7 yet. But reading a few reviews on the bits and pieces that's going on Forza 7. I think we can all agree that Forza itself is probably one of the best game franchises for racing simulators out there. But the one thing which does bother me with number 7 is the lack of new tracks. That's, for me, has always been a kind of like stumbling block for Forza. We've got all the tracks which were in number 6, and they've even included the tracks which were in Forza 4, so they're going back a bit. And they've made it all modernised, and it's all going to look all sexy and funky and whatever else. But the only brand new track that's on there is just one. And I think, really speaking, that is a bit of a letdown for such a really great franchise such as Forza. Just to have one new track is quite disappointing. Yeah, I mean, we're going to get 700 cars, which is great. Fantastic. Kudos for that. 700 cars which we can choose from, which is going to go racing around the circuit. Brilliant. But the new tracks, that for me is a big letdown. I mean, there's so many racing tracks all over the world which you can choose from. Why are we just limited to these ones which they're included? They could do so much more. It's a pity, but there we go. So that's a short and sweet one on Forza. And the next one which I'm going to go over to is GTA. What can we say about GTA? I mean, lots. It's got a great story mode, fantastic. I mean, it lasts several days unless you're going to be sat in front of your Xbox, PlayStation, PC, whichever it is, constantly for maybe like 2 or 3 days playing it until you actually get to the end of it. 3 different characters, whole lots of different things to do. It's great, it's fantastic. And then, of course, you can go on to the online session. Wow. Now that's where things do get a lot more interesting. I mean, you've got so many different options there. You can go into public games, you can go into private games. I personally like to go into private games with maybe 1 or 2 friends that I know, rather than going to public games, because I often find that you get a lot of like stupid little dipshits that are 10 years old that shouldn't even be playing the game in the first place. That's my opinion, but there we are. That just randomly just take the piss, and you're trying to do particular things, different quests within the game, and you get some dick monkey that's going to come along and try to ruin it all for you. And for me, that's where the enjoyment is a little bit, nah, not really enjoying this. But if you're to work together as a team, then great, you've got some really, really good things to do. Okay, it's not really right having a 10-year-old or 11-year-old playing a game where you can basically go to a strip club or get serviced by a prostitute. Do you really, really want your 10 and 11-year-old seeing that? No? No, I didn't think so. But yeah, GTA is a lot of fun. Great, great fun. Especially if you're playing it with the right people. Especially on the online, which is very, very good indeed. Going to go quickly on to the next one. Kingdom Come Deliverance. For anyone who doesn't know anything about this game, it's set in Bohemia, Europe, which is basically Central Europe as we know it now. So it's part of Germany, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, all around that kind of time, that particular era of the Middle Ages, where they were invaded by the Hungarians, I think it was. So you get the Hungarians come in and slaughter this village where your main character is called Henry, you're playing a part of him, and kills everybody, or most of the village anyway. It's the Hungarians and the Turks, I think it was. Visually, this game is stunning. I mean, if you like something like the Elder Scrolls Online, for an example, I mean, that's a pretty game. This just blows that away. It is really, really pretty. The other good thing about Kingdom Come is the way that it actually plays out. If you're a fan of something like Mass Effect, where you can make all the different decisions and different choices, this game is very similar. But everything which you do in the game does have impact further along in the actual game itself, pretty much like what Mass Effect does. So it's very good for that kind of decision. So if you like a game which is rich in story, that is fantastic. It's a fantastic game for that. It's brilliant. Highly recommend that. The downside, I would say, is the combat. It's not very combat heavy, which is kind of a good thing, because the combat, getting used to it, it sucks. It really is quite difficult to master. Personally, I'm the kind of like, the way this goes, I'm not mastering the sword side of it, so I ping arrows at people, which is all really good until you actually run out of them. Yes, problem. But yeah, it's a very, very good story-rich game. Really, really good. I can't wait to see where this is actually going to go, because I haven't finished it yet. But you know, maybe I'll do another video on this particular game when I finish it. Finally, for this short little blast of videos, or video gaming if you like, is of course Mass Effect. I mentioned this with regards to Kingdom Come. A lot's been said about Mass Effect over the past few months. Some of it good, some of it bad. I'm going to be kind of biased because I am a massive Mass Effect fan. They could do so much more with this, and I think the fact that BioWare, EA, whoever it is that's behind this, have not continued with this and just decided to wrap up the unanswered questions from Andromeda in a book form is a real big slap in the face for anyone that has bought this game and has been a fan of the Mass Effect series. For me, one of the big things which they did wrong was they missed out one of the main races of the game, for the first trilogy rather, which was of course the Quarians. By missing them out completely, if you're a Quarian fan, you're going to be sorely disappointed. Although they did hint at having the Quarians in a forthcoming DLC, and then they decided to not do it, just do it in book form. And for me, it's just sort of like, what? And then they're pouring all their resources into their new game, Anthem. Well, the way I see it is, if you can't do a game properly, if you can't finish it properly, then why go ahead and release this other one, which, well, I've got no interest in it. No interest in it whatsoever. Why? Because the fact that they can't do Mass Effect properly. If they can't do that, then Anthem's going to be piss poor. I mean, looking at the reviews and looking at the game itself over the last few months and how they've gone with it, it basically, to me, looks like a Destiny ripoff. We don't need another Destiny. We really don't. We've got 2 of them out there already. That's good enough. Okay, they're not made by EA. They're not made by BioWare. But that's all I can see that Anthem is going to be. Is just going to be a complete follow-up to them, but just with a EA name thrown on it. So no. The good thing is about Andromeda, I suppose, is the fact that they realised that they wanted a good thing with the multiplayer on the original trilogy, especially with Mass Effect 3. They did the 2, Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2, they didn't have it. But with Mass Effect 3, what made it really, really good was the fact that they had all this multiplayer game, which was thoroughly enjoyable. You played as a team, there was no shooting each other, which gets, unlike with GTA, can get really frustrating. This, you act as a team, a little unit together, and get all the objectives finished, which worked for me. Great stuff. They've done it again with Andromeda, and yeah, again, it works. Better graphics, it does look much more fun. But again, with the missing out of the Quarians, which for me again is a bit of a pain in the arse. They include, however, a Batarian. Why Batarians? So what's wrong with including the Quarians? Why did they leave them out? Very, very annoying for me. Very annoying. probably due to I am quite biased. I really am, because my love interest from the original trilogy has always been Tali all the way through. Never will be anybody else. I've tried, but I have to go back to her. I'm sad, I know. But yeah, so the multiplayer, that works. It's really good. But they were continuing to add to the multiplayer, different bits and pieces on top of it, which again was really good. But they seem to add more and more to it, but forget the storyline, and that's for me where it all went kind of wrong. I think because of the lukewarm reception which they got from Andromeda when it first came out, made them think, "Oh well, bollocks to that. We're not going to bother going to do the DLC, which we promised that we were going to do." But again, they leave so many questions unanswered by not doing the DLC. And I reiterate, I think it's a real slap in the face to anyone that's bought the game by having to read it in book form to find out what the conclusions are. It makes no sense to me. It's kind of like stupid, but that's EA stroke BioWare for you. They need to listen to fan feedback, and they need to listen to it very, very carefully before they go forward with their next titles, especially Dragon Age, because I hope they don't kill that the way they seem to have killed off their Mass Effect fan base. I think people are still going to stay loyal to them, but it's not good. Anyway, so that's probably about it for now. I will be reviewing some other games if people want me to. I'll go ahead. Please remember, this is just my opinions on the games. It's not anyone else's. It's just me. I appreciate the fact that people have different opinions than what I do. But yeah. So anyway, until then, take care all, and I'll see you all soon.